Well, yeah, if you don't know the history of the Bill of Rights, you will never, ever, ever understand the Constitution. And I think very, very convincingly. Your audience may be shocked, but you've already been there. I believe, no, I know deep in my soul, if you ask 100 million Americans tomorrow, was the creation of the Department of Education a legitimate, legal, constitutional act? Every single one of them will say, well, of course it was, because I'm reading the Bill of Rights and I say, I'm reading the Bill of Rights. The government can't tell you who to worship, can't take your guns, can't stifle the press, can't quarter troops in your home. I don't see anything here that says the government will not establish a Department of Education. Therefore, it's 100% legal, constitutional, and beautiful. That is pure nonsense. That is how the Bill of Rights destroyed the U.S. Constitution. And I do mean destroyed it. Before the Bill of Rights, you would not go to the Bill of Rights. Remember, the Bill of Rights came 3.5 years after the U.S. Constitution. Before the Bill of Rights was created, when someone asks you, is the Department of Education constitutional? If someone asked you, is the Department of Education constitutional? You would have gone to not the Bill of Rights because it didn't exist yet. You would have gone to Article 1, Section 8. You would have gone to the enumeration and looked at the powers that the framers gave to the federal government. And you would look at those powers and you would say, okay, the power to raise an army, the power to print money, the power to secure the border, the power to have customs. And you'd have said, no, I don't see the word education here whatsoever. The federal government does not have the power to establish the Department of Education. Quote one of the presidents in the book. Well, I quote James Madison, and he says, I forget what program specifically he was talking about, but James Madison says, speaking of welfare spending, he said, I cannot place my finger upon that part of the U.S. Constitution that allows me to spend constituents' money on benevolence to fellow citizens.
Right.
See, he read the enumeration and he was looking for permission to spend money on welfare. He did not find it. If he had gone to the Bill of Rights, he'd have been looking not for permission to spend the money. He'd have been looking for a specific prohibition that prevented him from spending the money. He would not find it, and your money would be spent. Franklin Pierce wrote almost the exact same words. There was a bill on his desk to give money to drought-stricken farmers. And he said, I cannot place my finger on that part of the Constitution that allows me to do this. That's because he looked at the enumeration. He was looking for permission to spend your money on welfare for farmers. He did not find it. If he had gone to the Bill of Rights, he would have been looking for a specific prohibition saying you cannot spend it. He would not have found it, and your money would have been taken. Before the Bill of Rights, you had every single right in the Bill of Rights, every single one, plus a billion others. After the Bill of Rights, you have only those listed in the Bill of Rights, and the federal government is now a leviathan that can take every single penny you own and send it to journalists in Sri Lanka to teach them not to use offensive non-binary language that would offend LGBTQ. The federal government can take every penny you own and spend it on virtually anything it wants at any time it wants for any reason whatsoever because of the Bill of Rights. And that's why the framers at the convention rejected the Bill of Rights overwhelmingly. 3 men spoke in favor of it. The state delegations rejected it unanimously. And it was written 3.5 years later by a different group of men in a different city, in a different state, in a political forum, and had absolutely nothing to do with the framers or the founders, period.